Hey, before I did get this video started, I did want to let you guys know I started up a secondary YouTube channel. It's specifically for my stock channel. I talk about all the different stocks I'm buying, things I've done in the stock market. I most recently posted a video about how I made over $1,350 in the stock market within honestly the last month or two. So if you are interested in the stock market, if you're interested from making money from stocks, especially during this pandemic, I would definitely go check that out. It's going to be named My Stock Journey. I'll have it down in the description below, and let's get into the video. Hey, well, what's going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. So today we are talking about fear. This is probably the most asked question, like, to me, in my opinion, of fighters. It's something that everyone wants to know. You know, we're in a sport where we're going in there, we're putting our lives, our bodies on the line, really for entertainment and money's sake. And you know, and people always want to know the big question: is it scary to get in a fight? Now, I'm gonna go over this question. You know, I'm gonna real dive super deep. You know, you guys are my family. I love you guys. Y'all support me, and I appreciate it so much. So we're gonna talk about that, and I'm super duper excited to bring y'all another step into the life and the mind of an MMA fighter. Let's do this. So I'm going to get straight into it, and I'm going to answer the question everyone wants to know. Is it scary to get in an MMA fight? Absolutely it is. It is honestly probably one of the scariest things that you can do. Like, yeah, we're in a sport, man, where we're going in there and we're genuinely risking our lives. Yeah, there might not be a lot of deaths, but if one mistake happens, or, you know, you have a bad referee, or, you know, anything's off, that whole situation can, you know, just get really bad really fast. I mean, we're doing things to each other that are life ending, but, you know, there's someone there to stop it. Like, you know, we're doing these chokes and rear naked chokes and doing all these different types of things. If we continue to go, that person doesn't ever wake up. You know, if you have one bad referee who's just not paying attention, that could turn really serious really fast. And you know what I mean? Yeah, these things are scary, but honestly, that's not the scary part. The scary part is more the unknown rather than the pain. Like, yeah, it might hurt, and there are some painful moments, like this one, or maybe this one, or that one. But it's honestly, that's not the scary thing. The scary part is really not knowing what's gonna happen. And I know that might sound weird, but it's like those. It's just, you know, picture yourself in a situation where you're imagining the worst case scenario, and then the worst case scenario happens, right? When the worst case scenario happens, it's always usually so much better than you were anticipating it, and you were like, you get to that mindset of thinking, why was I so worried? You know what I mean? Like, say you go out there and you get knocked out. Well, after it happens, you know, I know it's personally never happened to me, but I know guys who've been through it, and they're just like, man, it's not as bad as you're so scared that it's gonna happen that when it actually happens to you, you're just like, well, I mean, yeah, that wasn't cool, but on to the next, whatever. But it's whenever you're just going through your head of so many different things that could happen to you that it freaks you out. And yeah, there are some ways to help it, obviously. Like I've said in the previous videos before, like, you can train and you can prepare and you can do all these things to help, you know, like bring down that level of anxiety. If you go into a fight knowing you prepared as much as you can, your level of worry and anxiety are going to be so much lower than someone who just doesn't prepare, someone who's not ready. And then that just adds on. All you can really do is take away things to be worried about. But at the end of the day, unless you have a time machine, you never know what's going to happen. And you can't take away all the fear. You can't take away all the anxiety. But if you ask many fighters, that fear and anxiety is what drives us. If you watch us in the back and, you know, we're hitting pads right before a fight and, you know, our heads down and we're just, you know, getting our hands wrapped per se and we're listening to music, that fear and that anxiety is driving us so much. It's that fuel to our fire because, you know, your body has three instincts. Flight, where you're scared, you run away from it. Fight, where, hey, you're scared, but you're going to go straight at it. Or freeze. You know, if you're walking and you see a snake, you're going to freeze. Fighting is not a good idea. Running's probably not a good idea either, right? So you just gotta freeze. And usually, two of those things will happen to a fighter. To get to the point of being in a fist fight or in an MMA fight, you usually don't have that flight instinct as much. It's usually not your dominant one, because you wouldn't put yourself in that situation intentionally. Whereas when you're there, people do freeze, right? People do get in there and get so scared that they freeze. And now, does this happen often? Probably not, like 1% of fighters, if I had to guess. But that leaves us with one instinct, and that's to fight. And that's why you see some of us do such crazy stuff, because we have no choice, honestly. Like, once we get there, I love fighting with a passion. But when I'm sitting in the back, of course I'm nervous. Of course I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. But that doesn't trigger me to want to run away from these things. Yeah, I might have that random thought in my head, man, I wish a freaking asteroid, a mini comet, would hit the side of the building and cancel the whole show. Yeah, we all have those every now and then. Any fighter who says they don't's lying. But but that at the end of the day, we always want to go out there and we want to put on these performances because this is our life's work. We've worked our entire lives to get to the point. Most of us have been doing this for years. I started when I was 9 years old. I'm 18 now. So 9 years, coming up on 10 years of my entire life, my entire recent childhood gone, because I love this and I love doing this. So whenever we're getting to these fights, this is our life's work at stake. If something happens and we make a mistake and we get injured in a way in which we can't fight again, everything we've been working for up until that point is gone. And we have to restart. We have to find new routes in life. So of course it's scary. I see some fighters and they're like, man, I'm never scared, I'm tough. You're lying. You're genuinely lying, or you're psycho. I guess that's true. I guess you can't be psycho, but I feel like even psychotic people get a little nervous sometimes. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, absolutely. And, one thing that'll also help people kind of understand is the understanding that after you have your first fight, you know what to expect, usually. I got lucky in a sense that in my first fight, I had an opponent who was very tough, and we went all 3 rounds. So all 3 3-minute rounds, we fought, we went to war, we won fight of the night. My very first fight, I hadn't been 18 for a month. I'm young, fresh gun on the block, and we went 3 3-minute rounds to decision. And I was able to learn so much about myself, and I was able to learn so much about the fight game that it transpired into life. But I can think back on it and remember those times where I got hit, or those times where I got kicked or slammed. It might not felt good the day after, but when I was in that fight, it really doesn't hurt. I joke in a lot of my videos. I'm like, back pains. But it's honestly, in the moment, you're not even thinking about it. Yeah, you're aware like that would have hurt had I not had so much adrenaline pumping. But man, you're so fueled up, you don't feel anything, honestly. And so just the thought of knowing like it's not going to hurt as bad as you think it will. That's something I always tell my new guys, the ones who are about to have the very first fight, maybe a kickboxing fight, and they're all pumped up and ready to go, doing stuff. I'm like, man, listen, it's really not. You think it's gonna hurt a certain amount, it's not gonna hurt that bad, because maybe in sparring we'll go and we'll just beat them up. Well, yeah, your adrenaline's pumping, but your adrenaline's not pumping like I'm fighting in front of 1,000 people. You're just training, right? So that pain does come through a little bit more. Whereas when you're in a fight, your adrenaline's through the roof, and you're nervous and anxious, and so you get slammed on your back or kicked in the face or punched in the nose. It genuinely doesn't hurt as bad as it would. I know progressively it starts to get worse for sure. Later in the fight, when your adrenaline slows down a little bit, you're dumping, you're tired, it does get worse. I'm not gonna lie. But in the very beginning, when that person you're fighting is at full power and all this different type of stuff, it honestly is not that bad. And I do think that's a big misconception, that people think it hurts so bad and how would we not be scared. No, honestly, getting punched in the face is the last thing I'm worried about in an MMA fight. To be honest, yeah, I'm gonna move my head and duck out the way, but that's not the scary part. The scary part is genuinely just not knowing what's gonna happen. And so I hope you guys do get like a little bit more of an in-depth understanding of our, like our livelihood and how we approach these fights, because it's honestly not that bad. Yeah, it's scary and all these things, but at the end of the day, it's something we love to do, and we've been doing it for so long that it seems so much worse than it really is. And so with that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I love sitting here just talking to you guys and giving y'all knowledge and understanding on how we live and how MMA fighters do process things. And if you guys did like this video, go ahead and drop a like for me. It helps so much. It helps my channel grow. It helps me reach new audiences, and I do appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for future videos, anything you'd like to see, and I might put some stuff down there, some future ideas. You can go like, comment, interact with me. That'd be amazing too. And if you're new to this channel and this is the first video you've seen, do me a big favor and go subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.